Hey everyone, and welcome to 1.21 Gigawatts. I am Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly trailer talk show where we talk about the week's movie trailers, some of the bigger ones. And what's interesting about this week is that there is no bigger ones. It's kind of a strange mix because normally there'll be like the one or two that are clearly the headlines. Like that's what will be in the image when it goes up on YouTube. That's what will be the title of the episode. And this week is just kind of a batch because
I think there's a very obvious reason for that, though.
Comic Con's around the corner.
Yeah.
Yep, no, I agree. Next week's probably. Well, it depends. I mean, it may actually be the following week for us when we get to them, but like, yeah, there's a big batch coming from Comic Con, so you can look out for that. But it was actually at first I thought we weren't going to have an episode this week because the option's always open for this show that if there's not enough to talk about, we'll just sort of roll over the few that are there to the following week's show, and we'll just skip a week. But I ended up with 6, and I thought, yeah, okay, no, this is fine. We can do it. We can do a show with 6. And I mean, 6 is usually fine anyway, but like with no headlines, no big headliners. There was only maybe 3. I was like, but then I managed to find enough, and I was like, okay, right, we can do a show. So here we are, trailer talk, and I just hyped you all. You're so excited now for this.
Yeah, everyone's like, well, we don't need to bother this week now, right?
Very potentially, but sometimes getting into the oddities and the little weird films is sometimes the more exciting stuff because it's like, oh, we don't even know what this is. I mean, when a trailer comes out for, I don't know, a new Predator movie, it's like, okay, I have an idea what to expect, what I want from a Predator trailer. I'm going to see a Predator. Whereas with these trailers, it's like, oh, what are these films? I have no idea. Admittedly, this first one is fairly self-explanatory in the title, but a lot of them aren't.
Yeah. This one is like, well, if it's not about this, then I'd be very worried as to why they called it that.
Yes, so the first trailer we're going to talk about is called UFO. Although there's very little actual UFOs in the trailer itself, it's more about the conspiracy of a college student who is basically uncovering that the government are hiding things about UFOs. And funnily enough, Gillian Anderson's in this, and I can't help but feel that they paid her a lot of money just so they could put on their UFO poster. Gillian Anderson, Scully.
Oh, they definitely did. Yeah.
Scully from X-Files is in this. Real name is Gillian Anderson, but that's not important. Scully's in this.
They might as well just say that on the poster.
Yeah, that's clearly why they've paid her a lot of money to be in this. So you've got this kid looking into things. The government seem to be keeping an eye on him because he's getting too close, and it's a conspiracy film. It just happens to be the conspiracies about UFOs. So how far it's going to go with the UFOs by the end of the film's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it gets more interesting. It's kind of a really generic trailer.
Yeah, so there's not a whole lot to latch onto. I think if it's going to sell me a conspiracy thing, it has to give me a bit more style to it. It feels really generic in that sense. And if it was going to be more of a UFO thing, then show me a UFO or show me like a hint of a UFO.
Yeah.
Instead, it's mostly the conspiracy aspect, but not in a very exciting
It's just a really
way.
like what you expect. It's just like, oh, here's some papers, here's a computer, here's some numbers that, oh, look at this code.
Yeah, it looks very typical and
Yeah.
forgettable, I guess.
It doesn't look. It doesn't even look bad. It just looks like. Well, I mean, why? Why would I bother watching it?
Yeah, no. I mean, it may end up being okay, but it doesn't look particularly exciting. Next up, we get a trailer for To the Night, and this is a much more abstract trailer. It has Shitty Steve from Twin Peaks to return in it. I immediately noticed him. He was also in Get Out, if you know him from that. Caleb Landry Jones, I think his real name is. He is in this, and he appears to be a young father who has a drug problem, and he's trying to kick his addiction problems. But the trailers, this is kind of what I say here is like the synopsis itself. When I describe what I think the movie is based on what I see in the trailer, that doesn't sound that exciting. It just sounds kind of a typical drama. But the trailer is very abstract, and there's a lot of very atmospherical music, and the way it sort of jumps around, and it feels very kind of bittersweet. It gives you a sense of tone, which I will give credit as a trailer for giving me a sense of the feeling they want to convey. They're trying to convey something.
I think the first half of the trailer was stronger. I think the second half it got almost a bit sappy.
Okay, well.
Like just lent into that a little bit too much. Maybe that's representative of the movie, to be fair. But I don't know. It felt like a bit of a shift from all these really bold shots, all these strong, like all these colours, everything in that first half, and then it's like, okay, now it's this.
I think I perked up at the end again because there's some shots at the end of a house burning, it's on fire, and he's like standing in front of it. And it's a silhouette as he like quotes something over the top of
Yeah.
it, and it's a very ethereal feeling. So it's got a sense of style. I'm intrigued by the film just based on what they chose to do with the trailer, which I think at least in part is successful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested. Like I said, I'm not sold because the middle part of the trailer didn't necessarily grab me,
If
but I'm interested.
if they want him to be sympathetic, though, it's an uphill battle. After Twin Peaks and Get Out, it is an uphill battle selling me that he's sympathetic.
It is. Yeah. Can he
Uphill
pull it
battle.
off though?
But that's To the Night. Next up, we had a movie called Breaking and Exiting, and this was a frustrating trailer for me. And I'll tell you why it was a frustrating trailer. So the premise of this is that we've got this petty burglar who breaks into a house and he's like looking around to steal stuff that's of value, and he goes into the bathroom and he finds the woman who lives there in the bathtub, and she's still alive, but she is trying to kill herself. It's almost like a darkly funny scene where he sort of realizes, wait, did you take pills? Are you trying to kill yourself? He's like, yes. Well, if you could just take what you want and go, and I can get back to my suicide, right? And then the movie seems to be that he sticks around and says, no, I'm not willing to let you do that. Like, I may be a thief, but I'm not a complete, amoral asshole. So he sticks around and insists on staying there so she won't kill herself. And she, like, arguably, not rightly, but rightly says, no, you don't get to stay here, this is my house, go. And it becomes this kind of, like, romance of them falling for each other. And because he's willing to stick around, and obviously by the end of the movie, she'll fall for him because he's there. And
that's the real twist. She kills herself anyway.
Well, that's just a cynical viewpoint from you, but that is the premise of the film, right? That is what we're seeing, is they kind of seem to soften up to each other, then there's more fighting between them, and this frustrated the hell out of me, because I actually really like this concept. This is the sort of movie where I can see this being a really great, well-done little drama, but the trailer makes me think that for the most part, once it gets going, it's going to just play it as a really sort of typical sappy rom-com with maybe a slight edge because of the suicide aspect. But other than that, it doesn't look like it's playing it for the weight that I would hope for.
No, it's definitely playing more the comedy angle.
Yeah, and I don't want comedy from this. Like, not to this extent anyway. Like, I'm watching this and I'm reminded of things like 3 Iron, which is a fantastic Korean film if you've not seen it. And I'm reminded of other, just like this idea of this guy who's obviously clearly in a rough place, and meeting this girl who wants to commit suicide, and he realizes maybe things are, maybe I can become better, and maybe she realizes, oh, he was willing to help me, maybe life isn't so bad, and like there's a lot to do with this. Like I actually think a sort of dramedy, if you will, around this premise.
I think the dark comedy moments could really land, like when he finds her in the bath and he's like, I'm robbing you, right? And she's like, yeah, take what you want, I don't care.
Yeah, my problem though is that moment should have so much like it just sees her there and it's like a nothing moment. I feel like when he sees her, your heart should sink because you think he's been caught and you think it's a dangerous moment. Like there should be tension there.
Yeah, maybe there's more of that in the actual movie, and it's just
Maybe.
been cut up weird for the trailer.
Maybe I just like, 'cause my big thing with this is that every single thing I saw in this trailer, I could like think of scenes in movies that have similar scenes, and just I could think about how it's handled better and how the slow, like I almost wish like the opening to something like this would just be like silent, where he'd be slowly breaking into a house, like maybe another house first, and we see him like do his thing properly, and he successfully breaks in, takes some stuff and leaves, and we see him like maybe sell the stuff off to someone, again very minimal dialogue, and then he goes into this house, we see him go through the process again, and then
Except we know for a fact it's nothing like that.
No, it's not.
So we have a good 20-30 seconds at the start of this trailer with him talking to his mate going, don't think I want to be doing this robbing thing anymore.
No,
do
I
the
know.
proper job.
But I'm saying is he gets to this house, he goes in, it's all quiet, and that moment where he sees her there in the bathtub, and she's not really even paying attention to him, that shot should linger there for like 20 seconds as he's just staring, like oh, has she noticed me? Can I get out? Can I do something? And then the first time she actually mutters something to him, like that should break the silence. Like there's so many little things you could do in like moments. This was so frustrating. It's a great concept watered down to generic shit, and I'm not happy about it.
Well, I think that sums that up nicely.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea. The title's okay. It's a bit wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but it's a great idea. But the trailer is really generic. I'm upset.
It is. Yeah.
I'm upset. The next trailer we had was An LA Minute, which is a film about this author who keeps selling his books off to studios to make movies out of. And he does these thrillers and horror books, and they make movies out of it. And he's decided he doesn't want to be this commercial hack anymore. He wants to write just for him, write some literature, not just like a trashy horror book or whatever. And he goes to like a little not an open mic per se, but like a little art house, theatre, bar, or whatever, and it's like interpretive art and things like that. And he sees this young woman do this act as if she's like a call girl on stage, talking over the phone and stuff. And he's inspired by the rawness of it, and he ends up befriending her. It's this weird friendship between this man who's like 60 and this young mid-20s something woman, and he's like so cynical and jaded about the Hollywood system and celebrity culture and the world, and he sees passion in her. And then seemingly by the end of the trailer, she's so tempted by the fame because he promotes her, that she kind of becomes seduced by it and becomes the thing he hated. Oddly though, like what I'm describing sounds like it's going to be a really kind of like almost dark, depressing turn to like where he feels betrayed. And I guess he does feel betrayed, but it feels a lot more lighthearted than that. It feels like a light kind of like...
Yeah.
I don't want to say comedy. It doesn't feel quite like a comedy. It feels more like... just like... I don't know. It feels like a very just light film. As bizarrely as it sounds.
It does feel lighter than it should. I know. It's almost... when the title screens come up with all the words in the middle, like it almost feels sentimental.
Yes.
Like when they're coming up with them, it's that sort of tone to it.
Yes, and it doesn't really fit what's happening. Like his whole thing is that he hates LA and Hollywood, and he's sick of it. And the movie doesn't, or the trailer at least doesn't present that. By the end of it, it's going to be like he realizes how wonderful it can be.
I don't think that's meant to be the point. I think it'll be her coming to the same realization as him. That she maybe.
Oh no, I agree. That's why I'm saying that it doesn't fit. The tone doesn't fit at all.
Right. Okay. I'm with you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because like the trailer's not saying that by the end of this. Oh, no. Actually, you know what? It's a wonderland. We should cherish this beautiful place. No. It's. But the trailer would make you think it's like the trailer has all the captions and stuff in the title screens and the music. It has the text and font and the music even the voiceover. Well, it's not a voiceover, but it has all that stuff. It reminds me of like a trailer from the 90s, from like a movie about a rom-com, but it's not a rom-com.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I think that's why I'm saying sentimental.
Or even a family film. Like I can see like the original Beethoven having these captions coming up in this font.
It does. You're right. It does feel like almost like a kid's. Do you know what it is? It's a Christmas film.
It's a Christmas film. There you go. Yeah, it's like a family Christmas film.
That's the tone that it is. Yeah.
And it doesn't. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all.
So yeah, not feeling it.
No. Man, that took us a while to get put the finger on that one, didn't it?
Yeah, we had to suss it out. We had to analyze it.
Yeah.
Put it under the microscope, as you will. It looks very light. It is oddly, it has a very documentary look to it. It's very stark.
I have to assume this is just a weird trailer edit, right? Like this tone can't carry across to the movie, surely.
Well, I'd hope not.
Me too.
I'd hope not, but who knows?
I mean, who knows?
Next up, so we're going to wrap up with a couple of foreign films. We have a Vietnamese film first called The Immortal, about someone who, I mean, again, there's subtitles in the trailer, and as always, the trailers are all linked in the description for you to go check out if you want. But the trailer definitely had lots of very beautiful shots. There's a lot of stuff with like people out in like the mountains or like out in fields or waterfalls. There's a lot of stuff like that, and it looks very, very pretty. which all seems to be kind of the backstory stuff. But seemingly someone is immortal, but it comes at a price, and he's kind of a scary dude, and it's about people trying to stop this immortal guy. Like I say, I couldn't quite get like a complete finger on the exact plot per se.
No, I'm saying I'm kind of the same as you, where it's like the main point is immortality comes at a price, and it's is it worth it? It's presumably going to be some morality debate, right?
Yeah, like obviously the bad guy who's immortal and they're trying to stop, he's obviously either sacrificing other people for his life or so on. Like, there's definitely elements of that.
Yeah, because there's like some very gruesomely displayed bodies at points.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh no, this is an immortality spell. It's black magic.
Yeah, they mentioned black magic, and I also presume since he's immortal that maybe some of those scenes were out in the countryside and the fields and stuff are actually just in the past, like before we had cities and shit, because he's been alive that long. Not that you can't just go to a waterfall or some countryside just now. You can, but I'm making a leap.
It really got interesting at the end as well, where you see, he's like almost like like tree root branches kind of wrapped around him. And then it starts like injecting into him. It's like these roots are kind of moving. They're alive.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is an interesting visual.
That black magic, I presume, that play.
Yeah.
But
I'm intrigued.
It
looks gorgeous.
It looks pretty. That was a big thing that stood out to me, was the visuals. Some of the early stuff, especially out in the nature sort of side of things. That was very pretty.
It was, yeah.
So no, I'd be curious to see more of this. But yeah, so that's the Immortal. And the final film, which is a Filipino film called Buybust. Or sorry, Buybust, not Baby Bust. Although Buybust sounds good.
It's called Buybust, isn't it? It's B-U-Y.
Is it?
It is, yes.
Well, that's not what I've written down. I'm reading what I've written down. What was it?
You did this last week as well.
I did.
B-U-Y.
U-Y. Okay, yeah. But I'd B-A-Y. What is the typo in this case? I know the A and the U are far away, but...
You know what happened is you read it and thought you knew what it said.
Probably.
And wrote it down.
So Buybust. Also sounds fine. So this is... I mean, I'll describe it for what it looks like to me. It looks like the female version of The Raid.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
A little bit more low rent.
Sure, but it's only a minute long. Our lead character does seem to be this woman who's like part of this like squad, and it's only a minute long, so there's not really a whole lot of plot here necessarily. We just see some quick cuts of action and her like snapping arms and shooting bad guys and shit.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, what was there looks quite good. Like, I'm intrigued.
It does, doesn't it?
I'm intrigued by it. And do you know what I love about a lower budget action movie where all of the effort goes into the action? Is that that's what they care about and they're really going for it.
So you go right. That's got to be good, right?
Yeah, and if that's going to make up a big portion of the film, then that's fine. Like, I'm into it. It's great.
Yeah,
do it. So no, I'm intrigued. As much as the Immortal had more pretty images and looks bigger budget and stuff, this one stuck out to me as like, oh, I'm actually like, I think this looks like just a fun time. Whereas the Immortal, I could see the plot that like almost bringing it down when they try to explain the black magic and shit.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I mean, this could still suck. Don't get me wrong, but just from the minute long trailer, I'm like, oh. Crunch.
You look guaranteed to at least get some fun action, right?
Yeah.
If nothing else.
Yeah, so this is Buybust. So there you go. That is the trailers this week. So it was a quicker episode because we only had 6, and the longest we had was breaking and exiting because I had much to say on the spoiled potential of that. What I think is interesting is, as we always do here at the end, we pick our favourite trailer of the week out of what we've just discussed, and I think this is a weird week because obviously there's quite a few there that we were kind of on, we weren't super into. You're going to shock me and pick an early minute, even though we think the tone of the trailer doesn't match what the film's going to be. But again, we're guessing, we're making some guesses based on what it seems the plot is doing. But what trailer did you think was the best of the week, or which movie are you most looking forward to now? I guess.
I mean, they're two different questions, admittedly. But,
they are, but they can link up. They can.
They can.
Let's say there's no good trailers. You pick which one you're looking forward to the most.
Well, yeah, but I think which one am I looking forward to the most would probably be Buybust. But I think the Immortal had the better trailer.
Okay.
I thought it was a better paced trailer, and I got a bit more variety in it. Whereas Buybust was just here's some action for a minute.
Yeah. To be fair though, I mean Buybust is clearly a teaser trailer. It's not the full...
No, it is. It is.
It's not the full whack. And I do actually think Buybust had a better sense of tone, I guess. Like, because it was very, like, the start of it's just like, her and she's watching. It's like, oh, we've got movement or whatever she says.
Yeah.
We've got a thing, and it's, bit of shaky cam. It clearly gets you into the mood of what the movie's doing very quickly. I also think there's an argument to be made for Two of the Night, just in terms of style.
Oh, fair enough.
There's an argument. I'm not feeling particularly strongly to go any one way or the other, though, out of the three. I'll say Buybust, just to be different from you.
Why not?
More than anything else.
Well, why not?
More than anything else.
I think we're expecting a bigger week in a couple for Comic-Con.
For Comic-Con, yeah. I think that's 2 weekends from now. It's not next weekend, it's the one after.
Yeah, I think Comic-Con starts the 18th.
Yeah,
is it?
so just to be clear here, if there's no trailer talk next week, don't worry. It might just be because there's not enough trailers. Because if they're holding a lot of them back for Comic-Con, now not that every movie's a Comic-Con movie, of course. Like we may get a lot of good thrillers and dramas next week because they don't care about Comic-Con.
We also might see some of them putting them out early to get ahead of the crowd.
Yeah, very possibly. But in the off chance that there's very little trailers to actually talk about, we might just take the week off and then come back and roll them over into the next one. But I mean,
not even any Netflix ones this week.
No, we didn't. No.
I mean, says it all, doesn't it? They seem to have a movie out every week, so.
But hey, so I mean, we probably will be back next week with an episode, but just in case we're not, that'll be why. Just because there's not enough trailers. But hey, so that is us. So let us know what you thought of the trailers in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. There's a link in the description, of course. And over there, as well as supporting us there and being a patron to one of the tiers, there's also a handy list of links to all the shows, all the audio feeds. So even if you don't want to be a patron, you can go over there anyway. It's quite handy, just a handy source of information and a good pathway to everything else. But that is us. So thank you very much for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, guys, and we'll see you next time.